Okay, look at that. On that bullet we pulled, nice thing about it is it allows you to get an idea how much powder is in this thing. I just weighed this. There is 227.1 grains of powder in this cartridge. That is one big charge. So what this will allow you to do is a couple things. One, if you're pulling bullets on ammunition, it'll let you see whether or not it's been water damaged or not. If it's water damaged, it's going to smell moldy, mildewy or something, and it'll be sticky. It'll look like it has oil on it, and what that is the powder has been ruined. It may or may not fire. If it does fire, it's not going to give you the consistent velocity you want. Buying surplus ammunition can be of an unknown quantity. If there's any moisture damage, it's going to be inside the case. And what you'll see is green corrosion on the boat tail of the bullet, and that'll tell you whether or not this is good ammunition. If you're buying surplus ammunition, it's good to take apart one or two just to see what you're dealing with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to completely reassemble this bullet and put it back into the box that it came from. Okay, just like our Mexican match, we want to make sure that we use, since we're putting a ball round back together, we want to use a loaded round as a gauge in order to zero our die. Now the first thing you want to do is go ahead and loosen up the die. You want to go ahead and on the top of the die, go ahead and loosen the seating plug and back it off. Not all the way, but enough to where you're not going to inadvertently seat this thing too deep, or put a crimp on an already crimped case. So as we set this up, we just run the bullet up the die. We run the die down until it stops on the bullet. It's going to stop generally on the crimp or on the mouth of the case. And go ahead and turn your seating plug just to make sure you're not accidentally making contact with the bullet. And once you've done that, bring your collar down. Remember what I said before, back the collar and the die together in order to index it. Otherwise, what you're going to end up with is a cold welded die in the press, and that's no fun. Once you get through doing that, go ahead and run your seating plug down to the top. You may not be able to see this, but just run it down until it stops. Go ahead and set the nut, the indexing nut on it. Take the case out. It's a tight fit. Now if you have one of these, which is this is made by Midway, it's not made by Frankfurt Arsenal. They sell all kinds of little attachments to this, and I found that if you take just this drop tube, it'll fit perfectly over the 50 case. Drop your charge in. Go ahead and, I don't know why this guy wants to be difficult. Well, you know what? Just so happens I have an extra prime case. So where did mine? You're going to run into little problems. I don't want to edit out all the goofs that happen or the quirks, because I want to show you how I deal with it. There we go. There. It's a little tight, but at least it went in. Now take the bullet just like you normally would. It's a boat tail, so it's going to seat easily. Run it up. Voila. You have one seated bullet. Now, it may not be exactly the same as the other one, which this one is not, but what we do is seat it until it is. If it's seated out a little bit, don't worry about it, unless you're firing it from a magazine-fed rifle. Eventually what we're going to do is show you how to set one of these up to where the bullet touches the lens and grooves, and then set it back a little bit, just like we did with the other rifle gauge that we made. That's how this die works. Now, we're not going to get into the loading of the case itself, loading data and all that, but there's quite a few powders that are compatible with the 50, and those are H870 if you can find it anymore, H5010, and some of the other powders like WCC 5010. A lot of those powders are really cheap, and which is a really good thing, because you're only going to get about 20-30 rounds per pound for this guy. It's really a monster to load for. So what we'll do is we need to actually show you how to set up a 230 grain charge in your powder measure, because what's going to happen is most powder measures cannot handle a 230 grain throw at once. You have to either break it up in half or into thirds, and then go ahead and drop 3 charges into the pan and then weigh it.